on YouTube? It's PTT back at it with another Division video, and today guys we got another kind of intel annex from the Division, and it's breaking down a hell of a lot of changes that are coming in 1.6 and Last Stand. Now there is that much information that I need to bring to you guys. I'm going to break it down into two videos. As you guys know, it is very strongly aimed at PvP, so I thought the first video would cover the Dark Zone and some of the changes coming to PvP, and the second video will pretty much cover everything else. Okay, now while some of the pieces that will appear in the next video will also kind of affect the way you play PvP, I think they're more geared to other areas of the game. That's why I'm including it in the second video. Now guys, don't think I'm just making two videos for the sake of it, okay? There is so much information to cover. I just don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to have to cut a video short and miss big chunks of information that I do think you guys need to know. So, like I said, this first video is going to cover the Dark Zone. So, let's jump straight into it, okay? The first thing we are going to talk about is the Northern Front. Now, that is what the devs are calling the Dark Zone 7, 8, and 9. Okay, now all three of the new Dark Zone areas have access to rooftops, subways, and buildings. I did talk about this a little bit yesterday, but basically guys, they are doubling the Dark Zone but only giving us 3 new areas, okay, because there's going to be that much playable area below ground, through the buildings, and on the rooftops. And now to me, that's pretty goddamn cool, okay? I've been saying for a very long time that the Dark Zone needs more areas and it needs a lot more playable areas. So I'm personally very, very excited about that. Number 2, let's talk about landmarks, okay? Landmarks are getting a massive overhaul, and personally, I don't actually know what to say about it. Like, I'm super psyched about it. I'm super happy about it. The changes that are coming are very impressive, and it just goes to show that the devs do listen to the community. So, what's actually going to change with the landmarks then? So, we can have multiple waves of enemies spawning after you have killed the initial NPCs. Now, basically what that means, guys, is, as you know, at the moment, you get to a landmark, you kill a load of NPCs, there's a named boss normally, you kill them, you open up a chest, you move on. Now the way it's going to work is you will get to a landmark, you will kill all of the initial NPCs, and then you will get wave upon wave afterwards of more enemies kind of coming to reinforce the area. And that's really cool. It should mean the engagements are a little bit more difficult, they last a little bit longer, but they're not just throwing in more NPCs, guys, to make it kind of a little bit Falcon Losty, where you just get a wave based effect, okay? So clearing landmarks will now award you with additional loot placed directly into your inventory, bypassing the need to extract. That is absolutely amazing, guys, okay? One thing in the Dark Zone that everyone does indeed love is that when you pop a supply drop, the loot goes straight into your backpack, meaning you don't have to go and extract it. There is no risk of getting ganked. You know, you get a supply drop, you get good loot, you have to go and extract it, you get ganked, you lose it. Well, there's no fear of that with supply drops, and now you're going to be able to hit up the landmarks and get that kind of same risk-free loot and reward kind of feel from it, which is really, really cool. Personally, I used to love going into the Dark Zone, PvEing and going and clearing the landmarks, extracting and things like that. Then we got the days of the tactician builds, and it kind of went on from there into the Alpha Bridge meta and things like that, and I kind of just stopped enjoying going into the Dark Zone. Now, the old days, I loved it, okay? The way they are changing landmarks, to me, is very, very good, and it definitely means I'm going to want to get into the Dark Zone more, okay? It means that you can just overall have more fun playing in the Dark Zone. You can get loot, you can extract, but there are ways of getting loot with kind of a less riskier way to it. However, the other side of that is if you're a PvPer, you know that when an engagement's going on at a landmark, the agents are going to have to deal with a lot more. So be prepared, guys, for those teams sitting around landmarks wanting to gank people. Right, let's move on to the next things. I don't want to hang up on one topic for too long. 1.6 Last Stand will add the ability to fast travel between Dark Zone checkpoints. Now, why is that good? Okay, you come out of the Dark Zone, and we have all had this happen to us. There is a set of manhunts waiting outside the door and they gank you, and you have to respawn at the same checkpoint, go back out and get ganked again, or just leave the Dark Zone, run the long way round to another checkpoint. Well, now you're going to walk out that door, get killed, respawn in the checkpoint, and then fast travel to the complete opposite end of the Dark Zone, so you will never have to worry about them ganking you at that entrance again. What it also means is, say you're a PvPer, but you don't actually like going rogue, you like rogue hunting. Say you're in Dark Zone 1, you're killing a few NPCs, having a bit of fun, you hear that you know that there are rogue agents about, you pull your map up, oh dear, they're in DZ6 or DZ7. Well, simply run to a checkpoint, fast travel up to whatever Dark Zone they're in, and bang, you're in the action straight away. Personally, I think this is something that should have been implemented a long time ago, but it's very nice to see that Massive have done it now, and I'm extremely looking forward to it. Okay, what else is coming then? Okay, we have something new again coming with the Dark Zone, and they're calling it Contamination Events. Now, I have two quotes here because I want to get this right, guys. Contamination Events look absolutely amazing, so let me make sure I give you the right information. So the first quote: roughly every hour, elite cleaners will appear in underground locations in the Dark Zone, and it's up to you to stop them. Okay, now that's intriguing. It sounds pretty cool. Okay, basically there's going to be big ass cleaners that we need to go and kill, but there is indeed a twist, guys. So the second quote is: the contamination has reached unprecedented lethal levels in these parts, so your virus filter won't protect you. Act quickly and learn how to manage your health while venturing into the contaminated undergrounds. Now, that is like really, really cool, okay? The fact that you're not going to be able to protect yourself and you're going to have to go into these areas and kill cleaners while your health is depleting is very, very cool. Using things, I imagine, like the immune support station and stuff like that is going to be a very good thing to have. But, you know, they're keeping information kind of wrapped up pretty tight on this, so I guess we're going to have to wait till people actually get to go hands-on in the PTS to know a little bit more. Right. Let's move on to the next thing we know that is coming. They talked about this before, and that is Dark Zone leaderboards. But we have a little bit more information on them, okay? So first up, the Dark Zone leaderboards are going to work twofold. First of all, there are going to be weekly leaderboards, and second of all, there are going to be monthly leaderboards. Now, the activities are going to be tracked and divided between PvP and PvE. If you're a PvP player, then they will include rogue kills, manhunt survived, and extractions hijacked. For PvE, they'll be tracking activities like NPC kills, locked chests looted, and items extracted. So overall, there are some really cool things coming with the leaderboards. Now, I find it very interesting that they did say they didn't want to force kind of ganking and force PvP. So the fact that you get a PvE challenge where it's items extracted, but a PvP one where they talk about extractions hijacked kind of does worry me a little bit. But again, until the PTS comes out, we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. Now, the all new tracked activities will be turned into a total score, which is divided into 3 tiers. And the higher your score is compared to your fellow Dark Zone players, the better rewards you will earn when the leaderboards reset. So you will either get loot weekly or monthly. Now, overall, I do like the sound of leaderboards, okay? They sound very cool to me. It is definitely going to give something for the PvPers to aim for. You know, we're finally going to be able to settle the argument of who the best PvPer is on their said console and things like that. But I just think it gives them something to aim, okay? The PvP has needed a lot of love from day one. The fact that 1.6 and Last Stand is finally bringing that is absolutely awesome. And for me, it's definitely going to get me into the Dark Zone a lot more. And it's going to get me into PvP, which is something awesome. Okay, I'm very much looking forward to it. Right then, let's move on to the final topic for this video, and that is PvP balancing. There are going to be a lot of changes with gear sets, skills and things like that coming in 1.6 and Last Stand, but I will talk about them specifically in a later video. This right now is covering the actual dedicated PvP balancing, okay? Now there are quite a lot of things here, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read them out to you in bullet point form. They'll come up on screen for you to see them, but there will be a link in the description down below to the Division Ubisoft website where you can actually read up on all of these changes yourself. So that way you're kind of going to get a bit more of an in-depth feel, and I'm not waffling on for the next half an hour. So first up, hip fire stability while moving has been decreased and a new hip fire camera has been added. Number 2, the damage gap between body damage and headshots has been lowered. Number 3, when combat rolling, there is now a 1 second delay before you can roll again. Number 4, you can no longer reload your weapon while sprinting. Number 5, medkits can now be used at full health and remove certain status effects. Number 6, the rejuvenated talent has been changed to give additional resistance to status effects. I actually lost what number I'm on now. Number 7, I think. Adrenaline no longer gives an overheal from medkits. Instead, it will give you a heal over time. Number 8, I think. Your enemy's health bar will flash whenever they use a medkit. And finally, survivability talents like On the Move, Battle Buddy and Critical Save have seen some balancing changes. Now, let's have a quick talk about them, okay? Hipfire definitely needed to happen, okay? We see way too much running in circles, rolling around, hip firing for a cover-based shooter. So I'm very glad that that is changing. That also rolls onto the whole combat roll thing as well. It's nice to see that. 1 second, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think they might end up upping that to like 3 seconds possibly. To people, I still think 1 second is going to see people rolling around way too much. The damage gap between body damage and headshots has been lowered. Okay, now I personally don't know what the percentage is difference between a headshot and a body shot. Okay, I will hold my hands up to that, but I don't think that there is too big a gap. I've seen a few people talking about this on Twitter today, and I have to agree with them. Okay, if you're good enough and you're skilled enough and you've built your gear set and your weapon modifications right that you can land constant headshots, then you should definitely be killing players a hell of a lot quicker than someone body shotting them. Now, the way this reads to me is they want to close that gap, okay? They want to make body shots more effective, and that to me just, I've got to be honest, mind the language, seems like some serious bullshit to me, okay? It doesn't matter what game you play or whether you play a game or even in fact if it's in real life, okay? Body shots aren't going to do anywhere near as much damage as headshots. And yeah, I think that's just a big mistake, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We covered combat rolling, okay? That was tied into the hip fire stability. You can no longer reload your weapon while sprinting, okay? I didn't actually know you could reload your weapon while sprinting. I've never paid that much attention to it, so yeah, that one's happening. Medkits can now be used at full health and remove certain status effects. Now, they don't actually go into too much detail about what status effects can be removed. It does talk about player ones, so I'm assuming things like fire turrets, shot grenades and things like that. That could be pretty cool, although I personally think that that would have been a pretty cool talent to add into a gear set designed for PvP. Moving on, the rejuvenated talent obviously has been changed to give additional resistance to status effects. Again, they don't go into a massive amount of detail on how that will actually work. So again, I'm going to be very interested, and I am going to be watching a lot of streams on PvP through the PTS to see how this all plays out. The adrenaline no longer given an overheal for medkits, instead it will give you a heal over time. Is very good. That to me, the way they describe it sounds as if it works very similar to talents like Predatory, which is a very nice talent. The enemy health bar flashing when they use a medkit again is very, very nice. Currently there are a lot of issues in the Dark Zone when people pop overheals, they pop medkits, their talents kick in and things like that, and their armor mitigation comes into count. You know, it kind of confuses a lot of people. I think you don't really know what's happening. You kind of see they're nearly dead and all of a sudden they're at full health. They've got overshields and things like that. So the fact that their health bar is going to flat, that gives you a clear indication that they've used a med kit, and you kind of know where they stand. They're also changing med kits. They're giving them a longer cooldown. I think the current is 12 seconds and they're changing it to 15 seconds. So again, if you can see that they've actually used a med kit, you've got 15 seconds to take them down before they can use another one. Very, very good. Moving on to the last one, the survivability talents, okay? Critical save, on the move, battle buddy, things like that. I actually put up a video a little while ago and it did get a fair amount of hate, okay? Where you can hit well over 2.5, 3.5, I've even seen the screenshots from people at 4 million toughness. Now, while this doesn't actually up your armor mitigation, it does reduce incoming damage to you. The fact you can obviously also boost your toughness so high is pretty crazy. Personally, I am glad to see that they're changing it. Hopefully it doesn't change too much, but it did definitely need tweaking, okay? A massive problem when someone knows how to set up for PvP and you're popping critical save, you're popping a booster shot, you're popping battle buddy on the move, things like that, okay? You just become unstoppable and you come up against one player and you will melt them, okay? It is as simple as that. So it was a change that needed to happen along with the incoming Alpha Bridge nerf. Overall, guys, okay, the Dark Zone is going to be a very interesting place, okay? Everything taken into account, I am very excited for it. I am highly looking forward to getting into the Dark Zone with Last Stand 1.6. I'm looking forward to playing the new dedicated PvP mode. I'm looking forward to going and clearing landmarks and exploring the Dark Zone and seeing what there is. Now we've got rooftops and undergrounds and we've got contamination events, supply drops. There is just so much going into the Dark Zone now. I think that whether you're a PvP player or a PvE player, a lot of your time is going to be spent in the Dark Zone. But yeah, that's it, guys, for this video. I'm going to wrap it up. As always, I love hearing your comments and having discussions in the comment section. So if there's anything in particular you don't agree with in the changes, or you got questions, anything like that, shoot them at me in the comment section down below, guys. If you liked the video and you found it helpful, smash that thumbs up button. If we can hit 100 likes on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. If you're new to your channel, don't forget to subscribe. There are plenty more Division videos coming your way. And as always, agents, thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, I'll catch you all soon.